Coming up on today's show, just over a month after Battery Day, Tesla begins working with Panasonic on making a pilot production line at Giga Nevada to produce the new 4680 battery cells. Nissan updates its Leaf for 2021, but still fails to properly support owners of earlier cars looking for a replacement battery pack. And a damning piece of investigative reporting showcases how scientists warned General Motors and Ford about the consequences of global warming more than 50 years ago. And for the most part, they did nothing about it. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to our very spooky Halloween special of the Transport Evolved News Roundup Show, or TEN for short. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Join them and help the switch from fossil fuels to electric today by going to electricauto.org. While I'm well aware that very little trick-or-treating is happening today due to COVID, I thought today would be a good day to give in a very different way. That's because today's video will be helping out with a Comedy Central fundraiser for the Environmental Defence Fund. If you have not heard of them, they are one of the world's most influential environmental organisations, and they use science to zero in on ways in which we can make our planet greener, keep our communities safe, and ensure that we humans work to become more equitable in our actions, more accountable for them, and more capable of living alongside, not in competition to or to the detriment of, the fragile ecosystems that exist on this planet. Sure, you may not be buying candy for trick-or-treaters, but let's put our money to a great cause instead, eh? We've actually already raised about $180 by donating our ad revenue from another video this week, so let's keep it going. As for Halloween itself, well, I've never really gone big into it myself, but this year, the first full moon at Halloween since 1944, and a blue one at that, well, that's quite spooky for sure. Not that I believe in, that kind. Oh, crap. Ow! Oh, what's going on? Where am I? Oh, bugger, it happened. A full moon. Not quite a werewolf, but an immortal time-travelling doggle will have to do. Queenie Octavia Christina Dearheart at your service, yes. I suppose we ought to get on with this then. It may only be a short while since that lovely boy Elon Musk showed us his brand new 4680 battery cells at Tesla's Battery Day, and Tesla already has a production line in Fremont where it's making limited numbers of these new tabless battery cells. Now, though, we've learned Tesla is about to start building a prototype production line for these larger, longer-lasting cells at the Giga Nevada facility. Working alongside its battery partner Panasonic, this new production line will operate in tandem with the existing ones, and I presume will eventually take over the majority of other production lines when everything is operating properly. As we approach the end of the year of hell, which has been 2020, car companies and dealerships around the world are desperately trying to meet their year-end quota for vehicle sales. And that means we're seeing a rather large number of deals being offered for all manner of different exciting new automobiles. As Electrek detailed this week, there are now some rather good lease deals and purchase discounts being offered on vehicles from Nissan, Chrysler, Chevrolet, Audi, Jaguar, and others. Some of the discounts are not only on previous model year examples — it must be terrible for those poor older cars to be left on the dealer lot like that — while others are for brand spanking new spiffy ones. Regardless, if you have the time and some money, deals can now be made. Polestar has officially got to the bottom of the problems that we were leaving some Polestar 2 cars, and thus their drivers, dead in the metaphorical water. Yes, not nice. Anywho, according to the updated details from the company, there were actually 2 defective problems. One was traced back to a defective inverter system, responsible, of course, for turning power from the battery pack into the correct AC power needed to make the car go. And the other was a defective high-voltage coolant heater, responsible for heating up both the passenger compartment and the battery pack. Fascinating. All affected customers should be contacted post-haste and a resolution will be forthcoming in the form of replacing the defective hardware. As it is quickly approaching its 10th birthday, lucky it, I'm 167. Early Nissan Leafs are starting to feel the strain after years and improper battery cooling. Believe me, I know how it feels to be overheating. Let me tell you. And while Nissan has been for a long time promising that owners would be able to replace their car's original battery pack with a like-for-like replacement for a princely sum that's more than the cost of the vehicle itself, somewhere between $5,000 and $8,500 US, depending on where you are and whom you ask, it's becoming increasingly problematic for Leaf owners to find dealerships willing and able to carry out the swap as advertised in the advised price. This week we heard from a driver in Canada who has been quoted $15,000 Canadian to replace his pack. Nissan has issued a statement saying it's now working with the owner in question, but frankly this is terrible form, and I think you might be better going with a third-party solution. We are planning a video on that topic, so keep your peepers peeled. The latest JD Power Mobility Confidence Index survey shows that there is most definitely a long way to go before electric vehicles can be considered mainstream. Surveying more than 8,500 people, a total of 69% of people in the United States, 68% in Canada, have never sat in an electric vehicle, and 62% would not consider buying one. Moreover, during the COVID crisis, it seems that expectations for electric car ranges have increased rather than decreased. In fact, now 78% of American buyers say they would only buy an electric vehicle if it had more than 300 miles, 483 kilometers of range. Before COVID, that figure was 75% of all buyers. The survey also showed that consumers are unhappy about waiting to recharge, so it really highlights all of the work that still has to be done. But then don't ask me. I have an airship. So, Waymo, that lovely company that's been busy scaring people in Arizona with driverless cars, has announced a partnership with Daimler to bring robotic autonomous big rigs to reality. Combining the artificial intelligence of Waymo's system with the Freightliner Cascadia, the two companies will be testing out Level 4 autonomous vehicle Class 8 big rigs, which will, according to the official press release, be, quote, available to customers in the US in the coming years. Eventually, the goal will be to expand these self-driving big rigs to other parts of the world, but for now, the goal is to reduce emissions, improve uptime for the trucks, and of course, get all of those things that you keep ordering online to your home in double quick time. Who doesn't like a good radiogram? I must say I have plenty, and lots of vinyl to go with it. But if you are a Tesla Model S or Model X owner who has been interested in upgrading your car's original MMU system to one which is a little more robust, you may have had to deal with the prospect of losing the good old AM/FM radio your car shipped with. Now Tesla has that sort of backtracked, offering customers of older Model S and Model X cars who want the MMU upgrade the ability to retain their radio functionality by paying a little extra when the upgrade takes place. For $500, you too can retain your radio listening habits, which frankly I'm sure some people will be very happy about. And as you'll be able to sing the song, you could listen to the AM radio. Oh, okay, I'll stop. Fiat Chrysler has always been a little backward in its attitude towards plug-in vehicles, having only recently committed to making a long-range affordable electric car in the form of the brand new all-electric Fiat 500. This week, after pretty much every other automaker has announced its intentions to produce an electric pickup truck, FCA CEO Mike Manley was asked during an investor call about the company's plans to put an electric motor in its pickups. But while Mr. Manley did say that there'll be a, quote, electrified Ram pickup in the marketplace in the near future, he didn't specify if we're talking all-electric or plug-in hybrid. Given Ram is known for big gas-guzzling engines, I'm not entirely sure we'll see an electric pickup. Which is a shame, because as we all know, Mr. Manley, going electric is the manly option. It is well known that Tesla has the most comprehensive charging network of any electric car company today, and also one of the fastest. at least if you're lucky enough to find a version 3 supercharger. But paying for all of that electricity, or rather the demand charges that occur when nobody charges for a while and then 5 Teslas all rock up at the same time wanting some sweet, sweet electrons, it's costing Tesla quite a lot of pennies. So in order to try and smooth out demand, Tesla is trying out something, encouraging customers to turn up and charge in less high-demand periods. In exchange, it will slash the cost of charging, which, to be fair, I think is a rather good trade-off. In a message to all of its customers, Tesla will give discounts to California Tesla charger customers who fill up between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. Just make sure you're not doing it in the light of a full moon because, well, we all know what happens. And now it's time for short shorts. Who likes short shorts? We like short shorts. Oh, right, the script, yes. Consultancy firm Ricardo Energy and Environment have carried out a survey among the Tier 1 part suppliers in the automotive industry. It shows that there's overwhelming support for electric vehicles and major opposition to Mr. Trump's administration's rollback of emissions standards. Lordstown Motors has released its own version of the tug-o-war that Tesla did last year with a Ford F-150 pickup truck. This time, however, Lordstown Endurance is shown pulling a 4x4 F-150 along wet grass. That must have left terrible stains. Tesla's lack of driver monitoring on Autopilot led it to lose out to General Motors Super Cruise during a recent Consumer Reports test of vehicles that partly drive themselves. 17 systems were tested, and Tesla came in second. Chevrolet has unveiled its crate motor system designed to get hot rods flooding in rather than filling up. It's been showcased at this year's SEMA 360 inside a K5 Chevy Blazer. I wonder if it will fit in the ship. Must do. Tesla has quietly, and without explanation, removed the option to change the accelerator lift-off regenerative braking on all new Teslas. There are a couple of worries, mostly around battery management, but we'll have to wait and see if Tesla tells us the real reason why. Lordstown Motors has officially completed its reverse merger and it's now on the stock market. However, without any production vehicles yet and a lot to show, or rather not a lot to show, I'm very curious to see what the share price will actually do. Fisker also completed its reverse merger this week, becoming yet another company on the stock market, selling shares before it even has cars to sell. So far, only 8,871 Fisker Oceans have actually been reserved. You can buy a car from them, solar panels from them, and even a home battery system. But now you can buy your electricity from them too. Yes, that's right, in the UK at least. Tesla has become a utility company, launching its own tariff in conjunction with Octopus Energy. Lovely. BMW has confirmed that it's pushing ahead with its plan to expand the Mini family to include new electric models. These will include a new hatchback plus 2 crossovers. The electric models will be sadly sold alongside the gasoline variants. A ship has set sail from China, loaded with the first of a batch of 7,000 Tesla Model 3s to be made in China to be sold outside the nation. They are destined for Europe, where they will supplement US-made Model 3s until GigaBerlin is online. Electric car sales in Europe have now overtaken diesel car sales for the very first time in history. Increasing emission standards and that naughty Volkswagen Dieselgate means that customers just don't want diesel. Petrol is still number one, sadly. There has been a rise in the number of reports of Volkswagen ID3 cars suffering flat 12-volt accessory batteries. Volkswagen is investigating the issue, but for a brand new car to have a flat 12-volt battery is certainly not good. That's what I'm told. More and more videos of Tesla's full self-driving beta software are apparently on the inner tubes of the internet. And while some of it looks very good, some of it's rather terrifying. While some may say the beta program is fine if the cars are properly supervised, that is a lot to ask of people. Ford has announced the reveal date for its all-electric Transit. In just 2 weeks, we'll find out exactly what the e-Transit specifications will be. But we should also pay close attention, as I believe it will hint at what we can expect from the F-150 electric pickup truck. The Extreme E race series has been delayed from January to March next year. The reason for the delay has been the terrible coronavirus spreading around the world, and well, we are not all immortal time-travelling doggos, so it does make sense, doesn't it? The Hummer EV pickup truck is not due to go on sale for more than a year, but this week we were told that only 1/2 of all GMC dealerships will actually sell it. It appears that some of you were right. It will be a very limited production thing. Electrify America has launched a B2B division. No, I'm not talking about buzzing bees. I'm talking about business. Business to business. The idea is to help businesses who wish to transition to electric fleets install electric charging stations or to help their customers charge. As a Brit, can you tell that from my accent? I can tell you that I personally wasn't interested in Brexit. But for those who were, there is now a warning. Without a Brexit exit agreement from the UK, the price of electric cars could rise by £3,000, essentially cancelling out incentives. I say no more. As part of the advertisement for his new subsequent movie film, Mr. Borat visited YouTuber David Dobrik this week, but managed to crash into one of his friend's Tesla Model X's in the process with his little mail delivery vehicle. I suspect it was a set-up. I mean, who would let a fictional character drive a car? Don't be stupid. And those are your shorty shorts. Make sure you wash them before next week. As our local manufacturer of fine electric vehicles here in the lovely region of Cascadia, Arcimoto has been ramping up the production line every few months. Aided by Mr. Sandy Munro, such a lovely gentleman, the company has been tweaking and adjusting things to help increase production volumes and decrease production costs. And this week, we learned of a new cost-saving exercise that will be bound to save some money. A new partnership with DHL. No, DHL is not going to be using Arcimotos to deliver parcels, although that might work in town. No, it's going to be delivering the Fun Utility Vehicles, or FUVs, to customers all across North America. I'm sure it beats a car transporter. Plus, you can get your neighbours guessing at what the big box that just arrived really is. And finally, we have known for a very long time that humans are helping accelerate the effects of global warming thanks to their insistence on burning fossil fuels. Stupid creatures. We've known for years that big oil also knew, and this week, an investigative piece from E&E News shows that automakers also knew. Both Ford and General Motors had scientists on the payroll 50 years ago that warned about the effects, and after working on electric vehicles during the oil crisis of the 1960s and 70s, both companies worked hard to discredit climate change science in the 80s and beyond. It makes my blood boil, and frankly, I'd love to give them a bit of a swift nip. But if you want some more information, Nikki made a rather good video about it this week, so give that a watch with your afternoon gin. And on that frustrating note, we are done for the day. Thank you very much to the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric vehicles today. You can find out how to become a local EV educator, find local monthly meetups to attend, or just talk to EV owners about making your own switch by going to electricauto.org. I would love it if you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And if you do feel able, please consider supporting us using the links below, as well as finding links to our Discord chat room and our brand new, ready for the holidays swag store. Frankly, I don't understand anything I just read, but thank you for joining me and putting up with me instead of Nikki. I assure you that, yes, she will be back soon. As soon as the moon has disappeared, of course. In the meantime, please keep yourself and your loved ones safe, mind your P's and Q's, and do not be a nasty so-and-so. Pip pip, TTFN! Hey everybody, thanks for letting me be silly for a show. I hope you have a really happy Halloween. and see you next week. Bye.